What's going on, everybody? Kasabe here, and for today's video I'm going to be telling you guys on how to rebrand or make custom teams in franchise mode. I made a similar video about this last year, but seeing as creative stadiums are now added as a part of franchise and the menus look a little bit different, I thought I'd give an updated video. So first, what you're going to want to do is go to the main menu here and hover over the franchise option. From here you can hit the more options button, which is the square button on PlayStation, and you can start a new franchise file. You can use different rosters by loading some that you've downloaded from the vault or by using the current rosters. And it will take you to a screen that looks like this with all 30 MLB teams. Now, as you'll notice, I'm hovering over the Twins right now, and there's a button that says Custom Team, which you can press R1 if you're on PlayStation, and it will give you a couple of options to either create a new custom team or load an existing custom team from before. If you haven't made a custom team before in franchise mode, you'll have to start from scratch, but you can save them for later. So if you're doing a full 30 team rebrand, for example, you'll have to build each team individually, as there isn't a vault that you can share with other people. But you don't have to do it all in one go. You can make a team and then save the rest for later, just kind of do a couple here, a couple there. So if you hit create new custom team, it's going to bring you to a screen that looks very similar to Diamond Dynasty with a bunch of customization options. The first of which is the team details, which will just ask for your team name, location, colors, and if you have any audio associated with your team name, if you want to add that option as well. You can also go to the logo vault and download logos to place on your jerseys using the logo editor option here. I have another video that kind of highlights how to use the logo vault and editor, and you can check that out here. And you can also edit your uniforms, so anything that has to do with the jerseys, the caps, the pants, sleeves, you name it. Again, very similar to Diamond Dynasty, you can select this option right here. For franchise mode, you will only get a home and away jersey similar to Diamond Dynasty. There are no alternates that you can choose from. When you go to the uniform select screen in franchise, it will just automatically default based on if you're playing home or away that game. The other thing you can do here is select your stadium. So they have all of the minor league stadiums, MLB stadiums, and classic stadiums to choose from, but you can also choose a create a stadium if you're on a next-gen console. And to do that, just hit the L1 and R1 triggers if you're on PlayStation to get to the created stadiums page. You can now play in any created stadium that you can imagine. With the created stadiums in franchise, you don't have to have the Diamond Dynasty limited options for wall presets. You can make whatever kinds of walls you want and use them in franchise. So really, any stadium that you want to build is up to you. Anything's usable in franchise mode. But once you have the created stadium or other stadium options that you want to choose, just hit the advanced button on the one that you want to select. And from here on out, when you're ready to move on, you can hit the start or options button. It'll ask if you want to export this custom team for later, and you can hit yes, save it as whatever team name you want. Again, you can do up to 30 different custom teams and save all of those files. So if you do want to make a full 30 team rebrand, you don't have to do it all in one day. You could just kind of come back and make all the jerseys and uniforms at your leisure. So again, the rebrand options are completely up to you. You can relocate just one team or rebrand them. So for example, Cleveland is about to change their name next year, and you can rename them to whatever type of team nickname you want. I just chose the Spiders because that's what they were about a century ago. And you can continue on from there. You don't even have to play as Cleveland. You can play as another team, and you can still have the Spiders, for example, be one of the teams that you play against. Just know that you can only rebrand teams that you control as the user. So if you want to rebrand a team later in your franchise file, you can only do the teams you control. If you're not controlling those teams, you can only do so before you start the franchise, like here. So once you're ready and you have all of your team files for where you want to relocate your teams, just hit the R1 button again and load the file that you want to load or the team that you want to replace. So for example, I'm using my Alaska Avalanche team and I'm replacing the Nationals. And then when you're ready to start your franchise, you have all of your teams that you want to relocate. Just hit the continue button here. It'll ask all of your normal franchise options. Just hit advance and it will bring you to the spring training or regular season from there. As you can see here, there is my Alaskan Avalanche uniforms, and I will be playing the Mets in this first game. As I mentioned earlier, you can rebrand your team at any time as long as you are a user controller of that team. And to do that, you'll have to be in the off season. For this franchise with the Spiders, I just played through and simulated the postseason, and now I'm into the negotiation and free agency stage. I now have this option right here that says rebrand team. If I click on that, it'll just take me to the exact same screen as before. And again, you can change your details, colors, logos, uniforms, even your stadium right here. Now, the one thing I do want to mention is if you want to change a stadium for a team, you don't have to wait until the off season for that. You can change your stadium assignments at any time. To do that, just go to the MLB icon up here on the main franchise page and scroll down to stadium assignments. You can see here for my Alaska Avalanche franchise, I've selected the Ice Bowl, which is one of my created stadiums. And you can do this for any team, not just your own. So if you go to your created stadiums here, just scroll through all the different ones that you have, hit advance on the one that you want to select. Just know that if you have this stadium in franchise mode and for whatever reason you save another stadium over that save file, it will replace the one that you have in franchise. It will not keep the save file associated with the franchise. You'll just have your 30 custom stadiums that are unique to you in the stadium creator page. One other thing I do want to mention regarding franchise is if you're on a current gen console and you're switching over to next gen, unfortunately you cannot transfer your save files from one to the next. So if you start a franchise on PS4, for example, you won't be able to transfer that file over to PS5 to my knowledge. So for those of you who don't currently have access to Create a Stadium and you want to continue on the same franchise save file with Create a Stadium once you get the new version of the game, unfortunately doesn't work like that. I'm hoping that's a feature next year along with the re-edition of year-to-year saves. And on top of that, I really wish there was a Create a Team Vault that you can use in franchise mode to share with other players, so that way you don't have to create all 30 teams if you're doing a full rebrand of the league. But I digress. That should be everything you need to know about rebranding for franchise mode. If you do have any additional questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to help you out. Otherwise, that'll just about do it for this video. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next one.